welcome back, Rowan Hand, standing in the anteroom of hell. That's because I'm doing Tai Chi, I'm doing yoga, and I've done Rahani, which almost destroyed me, actually, on this earth.
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah.
I just beware of Rahani, be careful, I tell you. Don't listen to angels, it's not a good idea.
Okay.
If you listen to an angel, you get yourself into trouble.
Right.
But I was wise enough not to listen to angels. And we, by mutual agreement, the angel went one way, I went the other. That was good. But anyway, standing in the anteroom to hell, that priest up in Donegal, O'Buil, Porrig O'Buil, talking. I'm not going to ask you to comment on that because it takes all sorts, I suppose, to make life. What was wrong with Brazil? They must have had terrible hamstring difficulties. They must have had twists in their backs. They must have had sore heads. Newry City could have beaten Brazil the other night.
It was quite shocking, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm not an expert on football, but I did bring in a little bit of spine. It's plastic,
Wow.
so
let no one ever call you spineless,
yes,
baby.
Absolutely.
He's not a spineless guy.
And I just thought that it would be interesting to see what happened to Neymar.
Yes.
He got a knee in the back. Remember?
Oh my God!
And and there was a fracture in one of the bones.
Yes.
Now, quite often when we hear about people with broken backs, we imagine them in wheelchairs, etc.
Yes, yeah.
But I think that what happened to Neymar is that these little fins, if you like, I don't know if you can see them.
Yes, we can. Yeah, little fins.
Little fins here, and these are used to attach muscles on, so the muscles can pull and make these move.
These are anchors for muscles.
They are indeed. And if one of them snaps, it no doubt will be held in place.
Yes.
So as long as you don't move too much,
but it would be sore.
It would be very painful. Yeah. But after I'm sure a month, he would be able to lightly train again.
Feeding into that, you have nerves. Feeding into that, you have a blood supply.
Yeah.
Feeding into that, you have the muscle attachments.
Yeah.
And that's all you have in there.
Yes.
And with that, the case, once this here breaks, you're in trouble. Now, the glorious thing was that the impact wasn't sufficient. Down here is the protected column, down the middle.
Yes, this green bit represents the spinal cord.
That's the brain of the spine, so to speak.
It is. It's the communication.
Yeah.
The wires that join the brain to the rest of the body.
Wow.
And if in for example high-speed, very violent collisions, car accident things, if these are pulled apart and the spinal cord is broken, then you're in real trouble.
Yes.
But I just I think sometimes people feel like there's a fracture in the spine and they must be paralyzed, and that's not at all the case.
Not at all the case.
And in fact, as we get older, these main vertebral bodies, the big pillar, if you like, that these pieces that make up the pillar of the spine, sometimes elderly people, if they fall, they can get a vertebral crush fracture.
Oh.
Where the body of the vertebrae crushes in on itself
because it's not as sturdy and strong inherently as it was 40 years previously.
That's right.
You mentioned elderly people.
Yes.
I'm trying to get a handle on this. Am I an elderly person? No, it's a straightforward question. I want you to be honest. And I'll answer any question you want.
I'm not sure you can say that somebody's elderly.
But I'm 70.
You're 70, but I'm not sure what that means really. I don't know if it's useful to say he's an elderly man. It doesn't tell you how fit you are, how active you are.
It's an incomplete description.
So it is, yes. I mean, I think saying you're 70 is enough. And if you feel elderly, and
you are
let's face it, sometimes when you get out of bed in the morning, you feel elderly. Yeah.
And no longer.
No.
I feel great when I get out of bed
in the morning. Good.
I went to bed last evening. I keep telling people this because I'm a crusader for a better lifestyle for all of you. And what I'm saying, Steve, is I went to bed last night at 6:30.
Yes.
The most awful thing about going to bed at 6:30 is that at 7:15 you invariably have to listen to the Archers on Radio 4. And they're dreadful. I'm fed up with them. I never want to hear them again.
No.
But then you could say switch it off. But anyway, I wakened at 1:30 this morning.
Yeah.
And I got up after sleeping all the way through from 6:30. And I thought, oh, I must write my column. And I went out and I wrote my column. Back into bed by 2 o'clock and slept again until 4, up again. So when I get up now, as a consequence of your manipulation of my spine, your massage of my spine, and your good advice,
Yes.
I'm like a young man in the morning.
Good,
I'm up and I'm good and I'm strong.
Excellent.
And I shower first, and then when I'm wrapped after my shower, I iron my shirt. That's good use of time, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
I used to do it naked, only the window was left open one day and the police were called and I was taken away. Only joking, honestly.
And there are other dangers of ironing naked.
Oh, there's ironing naked. You can get the most horrendous injuries, I tell you. But it's all good. We laugh a lot, and we should laugh a lot.
We should.
So sports injuries.
Sports injuries. I was going to talk and say that there's sort of two kinds of sources of sports injury, and to give them fancy names, intrinsic and extrinsic.
I know of the intrinsic. I haven't heard much about extrinsic.
Well, extrinsic injuries are injuries that are caused by forces from the outside.
Yes.
So perhaps
that's
a Colombian's knee in your
back is extrinsic.
Is an extrinsic.
Yeah.
Falling off your bike
is extrinsic. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
It's extrinsic.
And I suppose other than wearing protective clothing. And I think people who do dangerous things, I suppose skateboarding and the likes. Somebody was telling me about their son being addicted to longboarding on a skateboard and not wearing sufficient
That's silly, but
clothing. But if you do wear sufficient clothing, the elbow pads and all that, then the falls aren't so dangerous. And of course a helmet when you ride your bike.
How do you injure yourself intrinsically?
Well, intrinsically. That's sort of more interesting. If you were to say you wanted to start running now,
which I'm doing,
which you're running,
starting.
Well,
it's a halfway point. It's walking to fast walking to jogging. Bump, bump, bump.
Yeah.
But before I've done anything, I've gone and got the best possible shoes available for my feet.
Well, and there you've tried to prevent intrinsic injuries. I do see people out running and they have very flat feet, and it just looks.
Can you tell by the cut of them?
I can, and I can. It looks awkward and clunky, and I just feel these people are going to cause themselves injuries. So if you do have flat feet and you were to want to start running, I think you should first of all ask yourself why you want to start running.
I want to start running to get my joints moving. I want to start running to increase my aerobic strength and goodness.
You can do a lot of that in walking.
Yeah, well, I'm walking. When I say walking, running, I'm not differentiating between the two.
Yes.
I'm thinking that we used to do a thing called the Scout's Pace when I was a Boy Scout.
Right.
We would run for 100 meters and walk for 100 meters.
Right.
And walk another 100 meters and then run 100 meters.
Yes.
Now that gets me to Rostrevor in jig time and back again.
Yes.
And I would like to think if you saw me running on the road, you wouldn't actually mention it to me, but you would take an image of me by video, and that you would post that on your website as an exemplar of how it should be done.
God-like running. Yes.
Winged heels.
Yeah,
you can put the wings on the heels by
that
thing. What do they call it? Photoshop.
Yes, Photoshop.
You can do that.
We could do that.
So am I on the right track? There's hundreds, thousands of people out there. Do you know how many people watch this program? There was a piece, I did an interview with people from Southern Pines in North Carolina.
Okay.
Last year, this time last year. And George Kingsnorth was with them. And I saw the evidence last night of the number of views we have had in 1 year of that piece of interview. 250,000 in a year.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
That's fantastic.
I find it very difficult to believe it.
Wow.
But it's true. The evidence is there.
Yeah.
That is huge. But having said that, there's lots of those people out there thinking about getting back. One of the most awful things in my life, in all honesty, Steve, is the knowledge that what I did as a boy, I can no longer do as well as a man, as an oldish man.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about running here.
Yes.
Running. And I want to be able to move. I want to be able to have the physical capacity to walk from my front door to the big stone and back again.
Yes, and I think that's reasonable, but I'm not sure why you want to run. I think running ups the ante quite considerably.
No, well,
there's a lot more impact. You know, your knee joints. There was a really interesting, if horribly cruel, experiment where dogs they had their knees X-rayed and saw nice healthy cartilage, and then they were forced to be inactive for 6 weeks, and then they again re-X-rayed, and the knee cartilage, the thickness of the articular cartilage had greatly reduced.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then half of them were put on a graduated training program where they would walk a little bit today and a bit more tomorrow, and eventually after 6 weeks their knees were examined, and they'd found to have recovered their knee, the thickness of the cartilage, whereas the other group had been forced to run from the get-go.
Yeah.
Their cartilage had fallen apart, and early signs of osteoarthritis.
You see, isn't it? Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you've had haven't been running, if you've had a somewhat sedentary lifestyle, I think you really had. Again, this is an example of intrinsic injury that our bodies need time to slowly develop, to slowly increase in resistance to these exercises. And you need to ask yourself why you want to run. And
I think, isn't it?
If it's merely to hold back the hold back time, if you like, and go back to your youth.
Can't do it.
You know, a callow youth. You know, now you've turned into a godlike man. You know.
A godlike man.
Yeah, there you go. And you don't need to run, because you can do so many.
But isn't it significant? I
I
said to the lovely man, I can't remember his name.
Yes.
I said to the man at Runner for Runners by Runners up the Armagh Road.
Right.
He gave me an hour of his time.
Yes.
Talking me through what I should be doing.
Yeah.
And I said to him, look, I said what you're saying. I said, I'm not interested in running. I don't want running shoes.
Right.
I want the best walking shoes you can give me.
Yes.
And he did that.
Yeah.
And I have those now for walking. And that's really my truth.
Yes.
And I don't want to run.
No.
I don't need to run.
Obviously you need to be able to run across the road.
Yes.
If there's a car coming and you're in the way, then that's fine. But I think that constant pounding.
No, not a good idea.
And there's a lot of people who arrive in their 40s and 50s and decide that they need to do a marathon. And I'm not sure why a marathon
I have seen, and women too.
Because it is destructive.
A marathon is daft.
Yeah. Walking, cycling, swimming, all these exercises, they're easier, much easier on your body.
I've got the wetsuit as a consequence of your encouragement.
Fantastic.
Now, the only thing I'm trying to come to, the swimming is easy.
Right.
The swimming is beautiful.
It is, yes.
What is difficult and damn difficult
the bloody thing
is getting into the bloody thing and getting out of the bloody thing.
Well, what I do...
You're all right. You have a woman to help you.
No.
I don't.
Well, I generally pick an innocent member of the public to zip my...
If I tried that, I'd no doubt get arrested.
The last time there was a guy with his 2 kids on the beach.
Excuse
and it was James McCartan who I mugged to zip me up.
James as the footballer?
Yes, as the football coach. He's a lovely man.
There's a great story. Talk about godlike men. Great story in the Reporter yesterday, where James at the All-Ireland final that they won, that some boy took his boot, how this happened I don't know, and flung the boot into the crowd. And they were awarded a penalty. And as they scored. And my mind's eye told me that James took the penalty in his bare foot. Whether he did or not doesn't really matter, but it's a good story.
You should have him in. I'm sure he'd love to talk to you.
He's a great fellow. But I mean, that's the difference. Getting in and out of the suit, the wetsuit. I'm now up to large in the wetsuit. The medium wouldn't suit me, wouldn't fit me.
Right.
You're large, are you?
I
Don't know. It's so long ago.
And you know, the thing with different types, different makes of wetsuit fit different body shapes. So you know.
I hit. You ever see the men you were talking about, the 50-year-olds, in lycra, and the women of a certain age who come back onto the road. Women tend to be quite flubbily and rotund in the lower parts. You know, there's the big, the big part, and as they're running, they're going like this here. Now, this is intrinsically dangerous and health, because they're going up and down. They can injure themselves. But I look at some of these people and I fear for the future reproductive health of the human race. How could such ugliness ever get round the business of admiring each other, copulating and reproducing? I don't know. But then I'm a bit of a Martian. I'm outside of all of this.
I'm staying out of this one.
I think he's a wise guy. I'm not. But I just don't like lycra.
Mail that way, please.
I'm here, please. But I just hate the lycra brigade. It's so silly.
Well,
if you're going to get into lycra, go and sort yourself out first.
Well, I think if you're going to cycle any more than down to the shops, then you need the lycra. I mean,
lycra's good because you're not floppy. You see people going along the road and their cape is blowing out the back.
There's no creases in it, and you don't get saddle sores with it. So I think it's good, and I don't mind. I think people should take their lycra off before they go shopping. But
or come in to Grounded for a coffee.
Yeah,
they come in there and they're in lycra,
and they change,
and they've got things along their backsides that are like it's like a
stripe,
whatever that keeps them. It's so difficult.
Right.
That with my one-shot Americano is very, very difficult. Wow, ugly, awful, terrible. Have you anything you want to talk to me about? Or are we there?
Well, yes. I was just finishing off my.
I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, not at all.
Please
This is
forgive me.
interrupting is all about it.
Absolutely.
What it's all about. So the intrinsic, if we take exercise, if we say you're going to start your exercise campaign, take it easy, slowly develop these muscles, the ligaments, the bone strength. It all takes time to do. So just enjoy the exercise and slowly build up. If there are problems like your feet, get them sorted out. Go to a physio or a chiropodist and get orthotics to make sure that your feet are in good position. Because if they're not, rotation occurs, problems, stresses on the knees, things, and also, you're starting your swimming. Take it easy. There's no number of lengths you have to do.
No. I wouldn't do it in the baths anyway.
Yes, no, of course not.
I've done all that. That's boring.
Yeah.
But what's not boring is being in the ocean and just going, just this here like a mean shark coming, breaststroking.
Lovely. I didn't see the results. I'm not sure if the Rostrevor or Warren Point
didn't see that.
I think it was on last weekend.
That was the Gunaway swim.
I did the Gunaway.
That was just out to the rock, rounded and back.
It was. That was a fun. It's a nice.
I did the most wonderful, even though I say so myself. Promo for one of my radio programs.
Yes.
And I used the Gunaway.
Yes.
And I tell it to you now. At the highest of high tides, I, adorned in my grey pinstripe suit, with tie and briefcase, and concealed under me here is a weight belt of lead, but you don't see it.
Right.
And I'm standing on the rock looking at the camera. I said, here I am in a place of great excitement. I'm on a mission to find you the stories of interest, stories that I can't even begin to tell you about until you watch the program. I have them and they're ready for you. But as of now, you've heard enough. I'm off to explore and to find. And I step off the Gunaway at high tide. I go to the bottom with a weight belt and let go of the briefcase, and all the papers float and I'm swimming. Get rid of the weight belt. I'm swimming out of the shot, and I'd arranged for the Marines to come in the rib and they come in as the papers sort of circulate and put a big wall of water up. Wasn't that good?
Brilliant.
That was a cracker.
I'm
that
sorry
one
I missed
indeed.
that. I'm sorry I missed that.
Now tell the people first of all where they can find you.
Old Warren Point Road. I have a website, Eccles Physiotherapy.
Eccles Physiotherapy.
Come and see me, and we can look after you as we've
Always do.
looked after you.
You have. He's done a great job.
Indeed.
And you know, the lovely thing you always say, he's not a millionaire, but he's not going to torture you for money. It's a fair price. You pay a fair price for a fair treatment. That's true. I can tell you that. Now, you mentioned website. Destination Yuri can do a website for you as well. A combination of our experts across the world, and Phelan McCoy upstairs. If you need a website, you come to us. And in the meantime, find this man on the Warren Point Road, 100 yards down going towards Warren Point, in the old Warren Point Road. And you find him 100 yards or so past the wonderful Emporium of Kyo's Cars.
Yes, indeed.
Go well.
Always a pleasure.
God bless you. Go well. Take care. And this is your godlike man signing off from our physiotherapy session.
All right.
God bless you.
I hear him before I go to sleep and focus on the day that's been. I realize he's there when I turn the light off and turn